In this part of the forest, he is not building a shelter that stays close to the ground. The structure before him has already been lifted upward, as if to separate living from damp soil, insects, and the usual fragility of the wild. He returns once again to the materials of the forest. Each small trunk is cut, trimmed, and adjusted to the length he needs. This kind of work rarely creates dramatic visuals on its own, yet it determines how far the structure can go. A raised bamboo house can only stand securely when everything beneath it has been prepared with precision. One of the most important elements in this video is the staircase. In many forest shelters, climbing up is only a temporary solution. But here he is turning access itself into part of the house. As each step appears, the structure is no longer simply raised above the ground. It begins to have an entrance, and with that it begins to feel like a place to live. The lower section of the structure is developed at the same time. It is more than an extra standing platform. It becomes a transition between the ground and the living space above. That gives the house more depth, a place to step onto, to pause, and only then to continue upward. In the forest, such transitions create a very real sense of safety. Above, he continues reinforcing the main frame. Bamboo and small trunks are set into place to make the upper space strong enough to hold. This is the stage where the house starts moving beyond the feeling of a simple raised platform. It begins to gain volume, height, and a clearer intention about what it is becoming. The upper floor is gradually refined. Closely placed slats make each step firmer and more even. A living space above the ground must do more than simply hold weight. It must become stable enough for a person to forget the height beneath it. Only that kind of stability allows life to unfold inside it. When the roof frame appears, the entire structure changes in a very visible way. A house does not truly begin with walls. It begins when it gains a roof. From this point on, the space above the floor is no longer just open air in the forest. It is slowly becoming the inside of a home. The sloped roof is covered layer by layer, and the image of the house becomes clearer than ever. This is one of the strongest payoff moments in the video. The viewer no longer has to imagine the result. They can now see a house above the ground, with steps leading up a roof overhead, a clear structure, and the sense that it could truly protect a person. Once the exterior is clear enough, he turns to things that feel softer and closer to daily life. Large leaves interior materials and adjusted surfaces make the house feel less rough. This is the stage where the structure begins not only to protect the body, but to prepare itself for the smallest rhythms of living. After the roof comes the front of the house. This is where the structure stops being seen only as construction and begins to feel like somewhere that can be entered. The doorway, the front frame, and the straight lines of the facade give the house a more complete presence, closer to architecture than to a simple shelter. Then the act of building begins to recede, and daily life steps forward. Food is prepared, and the same hands that raised posts and shaped the roof now turn to a gentler task. That is the moment when the viewer understands that the house has crossed its most important threshold. It is no longer only there to be built, it has begun to be lived in. In the end, what he has built is more than a house raised above the forest floor. It is a space designed clearly enough to be lived in, lifted off the ground to become less fragile, and completed through the patience of one bamboo piece at a time. In this forest, it is more than bushcraft. It is the way a home comes into being.